it is February 12th, I believe, and it's snow. There's snow outside, but I have got some motivation the last couple of days. Got my energy back after having COVID pretty bad right after Christmas. I was pretty much down for 3 or 4 weeks and really feeling the push to, get my mojo back. So I was very much putting off any kind of gardening stuff until people start asking me questions about seeds and this and that. I'm like, it's February. Oh, it's February. We're supposed to be starting some seeds. My greenhouse is a wreck. The windstorm blew out a bunch of my panels and everything is just like all over the place in there. So I'm kind of tidying that up over the next couple of weeks and hoping to get my panels fixed or put plastic over it or something. But anyways, the reason I'm making this video is I have been doing soil blocking for maybe this is my 3rd year. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's been very long, but most people are like, what is that? And I'm like, yeah, I never heard of it before. I just came across it one day and started reading about all of the many, many benefits to it, and the fact that it uses very minimal plastic, and having to buy cell trays over and over again. That's a big thing, but it's actually more healthy for the plants. So that's really awesome. So I actually thought I would make a video of them and how I do it. I'm sure there's videos online, but I wanted to be able to share this with my friends, and it's just barely nice enough outside to do this. So I'm not sure if I can turn this around. The sun is in my eyes, so I apologize, but I'm gonna try my best. Nope, I can't turn it around. That is really lame. Okay, anyways, I'll do the best I can. I'm not very good at doing this. So here is what I've got started so far. These are 2-inch blocks, 2x2s, and they have a little hole indented that I did with this guy. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can do this with one hand. So I'll show you how I get the soil in there in just a second. And then I'm just going to push this down. It kind of squeezes the excess water out. And then pull this up, and voila. So I got room for one more, so I'm going to show you one-handed. Let's see if I'm successful how I do this. So usually I have 2 hands and I use quite a bit of muscle to make sure I get it packed down. I'm going to rock this back and forth in here, and I will go over in just a second the soil that I'm using and how I get this all set up. But since I had already started and I didn't want to forget to show you, so I'm going to kind of push it down, make sure it's packed in there. Sometimes they slide out, but I haven't done this since last year, and I actually got it right the first time. So I found these trays on Amazon. They're smaller than the regular trays that you normally get. They work really great for me for doing this because they fit perfectly. There's 4 in here, but there's 1 of these this way, and then it just has perfect amount of room. So I really like it. It works great for me. So there's one tray. So there's 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 24 in this tiny little tray, and a lot of seeds will last quite a while in here. One of the benefits to, the sun's really in my eyes, but I can't wait till later to do this. One of the benefits to this is that they do what's called air pruning. And what that means is once the roots hit the sides of the walls, instead of coiling and wrapping around themselves and getting root bound, they actually split off into tinier hairs, and occasionally they'll try and grow into the other soil blocks, but that doesn't, the fine hairs are so fine that they just come right apart and they're less damaged. They take to transplanting a lot better. I've had really good success with it so far. They're really easy to water. They don't fall apart unless you just like dump water on them. But I just water from the corners and just kind of tilt it and get the water to spread, and just wait till I can see that they're getting saturated. And one thing, if you're not haven't been gardening for very long, definitely always make sure you wait to water until the tops start to dry out. Don't overwater them, especially in the way I'm doing it. I do not have holes at the bottom of my trays. I haven't had any issues with that so far, as long as I make sure that I am not overwatering. So yes, I learned that lesson the hard way. So let's get back to, I found chunks of ice in my pocket. How I got the soil prepped before I started. Generally, I mix my own soil for this, being that it's the middle of winter and I haven't gotten ready necessarily. I had purchased some really good soil from a local garden store, and the guy said he uses it for everything from potting houseplants to starting seeds, and had really good luck with it. And this is my first tray, and I really like how it's turning out. It's holding together really well. There's not lots of big chunks. Sometimes you have like the wood chips and stuff in there. But normally what I do is mix my own with peat, vermiculite, or perlite. Vermiculite just a little finer. If you want to start, like, they have smaller cell starting blocks for starting really, really tiny seeds, so that vermiculite tends to work better. So there's vermiculite, peat, and sometimes you can mix in like some sand. Some people put in lime, depending on you know, the mix of stuff. I don't have all that info in my head right now, but it's definitely online if you're wanting to make your own seed starting soil. That works great for this. So the soil that I'm using, I'm just gonna look at it real quick just in case you have this available. I will, you know, try to update later on and let you know how it works out. This is just from Rocky Mountain Soils Premium Organic Potting Soil. I just got it at True Value. So that's just what I had. If it goes well, I'll buy it again. It's not very expensive. And that way, instead of just doing the seed starting soil with the peat and vermiculite, that does not have any nutrients in it. So you would have to fertilize or pot them up, or you can mix in some soil into it, which is what I usually do. That way, once they start getting their true leaves, they'll have the nutrients that they need. So this, I think, is going to work out really well. So anyways, if you have questions, let me know. I know one question that's probably going to be asked is, you know, how do you transport or transplant them? Like, do they just fall apart? No, they do not, unless, you know, the roots aren't very developed. Obviously, it depends on how wet they are and whatnot, but I haven't had too much trouble with that. I've even sold some of these. I will just put them in, give them a tray or some kind of container or whatever, you know, because you don't want dirt in your car or whatever. Put them in a plastic bag if it's a short bit. So it's really not been that big of an issue. If I was selling a lot, you know, I may change how I do things, but overall, this has been really awesome. Works really well, and my success rate for germination has been remarkable compared to my failures in the past anyways. So the soil blocker itself is just, you can find them online, and you can see inside there are the little plugs. They are removable. You can actually trying to think. Or you can take them out and put shoot, no, I'm thinking of the wrong one. The other one, you can take them out and you can actually I'm sorry. Yeah, you take them out and there's a square one and you put that in, and that makes a little bit bigger of a hole, so you can actually, when you make the really tiny ones, that has 20, so it's kind of like this, but it's more square and it has 20 tiny little 3/4 inch holes. You can actually take those and put them right into these 2-inch soil blockers with that kind of insert. So I've done that a couple of times. I'm not super in love with the smaller seed blocks just because they dry out really fast, and but you can start in the same size tray as I'm using right now. If I remember right, it was 120 seedlings, which is pretty awesome. So, but they do have to be transplanted or up-potted fairly quickly. So if you're starting a whole lot of seeds and you need to start it like all right now, that is the way to go. That's what I did last year. Unfortunately, I did lose a lot because I moved them outside into the greenhouse a little too soon. We needed some heat out there. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to share and maybe inspire somebody else who wanted to hear some success stories or failures. And overall, this has been pretty much a success for me. I haven't had any reason to be like, yeah, I'm not using that anymore. I've also tried various things. I've actually tried the there's little bags that are made out of the whatever material, soil bags. They're just really tiny. Works in a very similar way, except for it's more contained. You can get all different sizes, which, you know, if you're selling, that might be something to think about if you're trying to avoid plastic, because you can also plant those in the ground, but I did not have very good success with those. The roots had a hard time getting out of the cloth and they were kind of stunted. So if they just might not want to stay in there very long. I ended up cutting the bottom, even though they said you didn't have to do that to allow the roots to come out. So like I said, I've really done really well with these soil blocks. So I highly recommend them, and no, I'm not affiliated. I just love it and have had lots of questions about it. So, all right, have a wonderful day, and happy winter. There's the rest of the snow. We've had about 1 day of winter per week or two this last month. It hasn't been much of winter around here. Canyon City, Colorado. Yeah, we're like the banana belt of Colorado, and we have been regularly seeing high 50s most of the month, and although we did have a pretty big cold snap several weeks ago. But all right, have a good one.